Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and completely shatter the illusion that owning a gaming cafe is as easy as plugging in some PCs and watching the cash roll in. Today, we're going to unpack the hard, unvarnished economics of starting and actually running a profitable esports gaming lounge. If you've ever walked into one of these incredibly cool spaces and thought, hey, I could do this, well, this explainer is specifically for you.
The dream is pretty simple, right? Rent a space, buy a room full of high-end machines, and charge people by the hour to sit down and play. You're basically just renting out time on hardware you already own, catering to gamers who can't afford or simply don't want that massive, expensive setup at home. But the reality is so much more complex. This business model is exploding globally, projected to nearly double into a $7.8 billion market by 2022. And yet, it's a business where the actual mechanics of keeping those seats full and the lights on are just wildly misunderstood.
You might want to brace yourself for this number, because over $2.2 million is the recommended minimum cash reserve you actually need just to survive your first year of operations. Yeah, you read that right. Before you even think about profits, you need a massive financial runway to handle the initial build-out and absorb all that early-stage volatility. Let's break down exactly where all this cash is going before you even unlock the front doors. That brings us to Section 1, the massive startup costs.
Literally, before a single customer walks in, you're looking at some serious investments. We're talking $450,000 just for the facility build-out. And this isn't just a fresh coat of paint and some new carpet. This covers professional soundproofing for team rooms, acoustic insulation, heavy-duty electrical wiring capable of running dozens of power-hungry machines all at once, and ergonomic setups. Then, you're dropping another $300,000 for high-performance PC stacks, plus $80,000 strictly for the network routing hardware to guarantee that flawless, zero-latency play.
To a player, a high-end setup is basically an awesome toy. But to you, the owner, it's a rapidly depreciating asset. Serious players expect the absolute best, which means you're spending between $1,500 and $2,500 per station. Outfitting a relatively modest space with just 15 to 20 machines easily costs $30,000 to $50,000 in equipment alone. And the worst part? That hardware is ticking toward obsolescence the exact second you take it out of the box.
And here's the absolute kicker. A gaming cafe literally lives or dies by its internet speed. If your network lags even a little, your business fails. It's that simple. This means you absolutely must secure a premium backbone lease. Now, this isn't your standard residential broadband. This is a highly specialized SLA-backed connection with optimized routing hardware. It guarantees competitive play, but it also tacks on a massive $3,500 to your monthly fixed costs right out of the gate. Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, surviving the first year. You've really got to mentally prepare yourself for what financial folks call the trough of sorrow. Because despite bringing in what sounds like a fantastic top-line revenue of $577,000 in year one, the typical gaming cafe operates at a painful negative $192,000 EBITDA. Basically, during that entire first year, you're essentially just bleeding cash while desperately trying to establish a loyal customer base.
So why are you losing so much? Well, it's that relentless overhead. Your direct and fixed costs are incredibly heavy. You're looking at around $12,500 a month just for the facility rent, a $4,000 monthly technical support retainer just to ensure maximum uptime, and of course that $3,500 internet lease we mentioned. That's $20,000 draining from your bank account every single month, regardless of whether your cafe is packed to the brim with gamers or completely dead. And that sets us up for Section 3, the empty chair trap.
Just think about the pure anxiety of this idea. The electricity, the rent, and the staff are all being paid whether anyone is actually sitting there or not. What happens when those premium gaming chairs sit completely empty on a random Tuesday morning? An empty chair doesn't just represent lost potential revenue, it represents an active financial loss. The game licenses, the high-capacity AC, the rent, you're paying for all of it while that seat sits empty.
To survive this, you have to completely obsess over your utilization rates. Your average utilization needs to hover right in that 50 to 70% sweet spot. If your tracking software shows you consistently dipping below 40%, you're in the danger zone and actively burning money. On the flip side, if you're consistently hitting above 80%, well, that's a brilliant signal that you have the demand to either raise your prices or expand your physical footprint.
So, how do you actually turn a profit? Let's get into Section 4, the real moneymakers.
Here is the massive pivot you need to understand. The hourly gaming rate isn't actually your real moneymaker. While charging $5 to $10 an hour yields a totally respectable 30 to 50% gross margin, it is easily outclassed by food and beverage sales. We're talking massive 60 to 80% gross margins here. Specialty coffees, energy drinks, and gourmet snacks, those can easily account for 30 to 50% of a successful cafe's total bottom line. Because those margins are so fantastic, customer friction is basically your worst enemy. By integrating a simple QR code ordering system directly at the gaming desks through your point-of-sale software, you make spending completely effortless. Just a quick $5 snack or energy drink upsell dramatically shifts your daily income per seat by 25 to 50%, with almost zero extra effort from your staff. But the real secret sauce involves heavy diversification. You simply can't rely on walk-ins alone. You've got to build recurring revenue through tiered monthly memberships, usually ranging from $30 to $50. You should be hosting highly lucrative weekend tournaments with entry fees, charging admission for huge watch parties during major esports events, and even securing hardware sponsorships from companies like MSI or HyperX to help offset those brutal equipment costs.
Okay, but what about those totally dead Tuesday mornings we were stressing over earlier? To fix the empty chair trap during off-peak hours, savvy owners pull some very specific strategic levers. You implement dynamic off-peak pricing to incentivize early birds. You lean super heavily into unlimited monthly memberships to guarantee upfront cash flow. And you start selling productized coaching and video-on-demand analytics packages to dedicated players who want to train when the cafe is quiet.
All right, let's pull all of this together in Section 5, the path to profitability. Yes, that first year is an absolute cash-burning grind. But look at how the trajectory shifts if you actually survive it. By strictly controlling those fixed costs, pushing membership models, and heavily leaning into high-margin food and beverage sales, financial models project a solid break-even by year 3, hitting an impressive $689,000 in EBITDA. And if you continue to optimize and scale, by year 5, your EBITDA can soar to over $1.56 million. And the final reward for all that operational stress? Well, it's incredibly capital-intensive upfront. A well-managed gaming cafe can eventually yield a really solid personal take-home pay for the owner. We're talking anywhere from $50,000 to well over $150,000 annually, totally depending on your reinvestment rate and tax structure once you hit scale.
So we've walked through the staggering initial costs, those brutal monthly fixed drains, and the hidden economic engines living inside your snack bar and membership tiers. The roadmap is totally clear, but executing it is fierce. Which leaves us with one final incredibly provocative question. Knowing all the hidden traps and that massive financial runway required just to get started, do you have the strategic grit to survive until year 3?